I'm Katrina. This is Tare, and I'm here with my mom. Hi. And she's going to tell us a little bit about how she does her compost, because I do my compost different. So why don't you tell us how you got started in composting?
Gosh, I got started in composting because we had a lot of food waste, and I didn't just want to throw it down the disposal. So this is what we settled on. We had a different system before, but this is just something we got, I think, from our recycling company. There's just these stakes. What do you call these green stakes?
T-posts.
T-posts. And then there's this plastic thing, black plastic, has got the holes in it. And I keep a little
We can show it
milk
later.
jug with this cut out so that I could just dump things in it. Like an eggshell or a banana peel, so forth. And then every day when it gets full, or even before it gets full, I'll come out here and I'll just dump it in here. We have a water spigot right close by, and we add water to it. We've got a pitchfork.
How often do you add water?
Well, it depends on the weather. If it's raining, I don't bother. If it's snowy, I don't bother. In the summertime, just if it looks dry, I put water. And then we have a pitchfork and we just turn it over.
How often? Whenever?
I don't have a real schedule. One thing that really boosted my compost was when I was teaching kindergarten, we did a unit on worms. And the science unit required red wigglers and earthworms. And so I went to the store and I bought red wigglers and earthworms.
And tell the story.
Well, so I went to I wanted to get red wigglers.
So red wigglers are the ones that are compost worms. That's the ones that if you have a vermiculture, that's what you have is red wigglers, and they have different muscle movements than the earthworms, which you'll find usually in the ground. Here there's not really earthworms, or not very many, because the ground is so dry and volcanic and sandy. And so the reason for the two different ones, they have two different muscular movements, and of course the red wigglers are used for composting, and the earthworms are used for fishing here, around here at least. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And I think in the science unit it was just looking at comparisons. So the red wigglers. So I went. I was looking for red wigglers, and I went to the nursery, I think it was, and I went in and I put on my sad little kindergarten teacher face, and I said, "I'm looking for some worms. I just need about 10 red wigglers. Do you have them?" "Oh yes, we have red wigglers. We sell them by the pound." "Well, how many come in a pound?" "Well, there's a lot in a pound. I only need, can I just get like a little pinch? I'll pay for them." Well, I had this sad kindergarten teacher face, and the lady just took a pinch of worms out and gave them to me, which was lovely, because those worms, I still have
How many
descendants.
years ago was that?
That had to have been in 2006, maybe. Anyway, so we did the worm unit, and then of course I went to the bait shop for the earthworms. But when we were done with the worm unit, I just threw the worms in the compost pile, because I figured, that way they'll be ready for the following year, and I won't have to worry about them because they'll feed themselves. And they really did a good job on making the compost more rich.
You saw a big difference before and after the worms?
Oh yeah. Now the red wigglers I've been able to, pull out every year for the science unit. I'm retired now, so they're safe now.
Safe from child hands.
And I forget where I was going with that.
The earthworms.
So every year the red wigglers are there, and I can just pull them out again. But the earthworms, they just burrow down, and they disappear. I don't know what happens to them. They go to China, I think. But yeah, and so this is really good way to use up your food waste and save your disposal. The other thing is we have a septic tank with a drain field, and so I generally, I try to be responsible and not put too much stuff down there, because you have to pump the septic out every 5 years or so, I guess, 10 years, whatever. And this way, I'm throwing it away, but I'm getting some use from it.
And then also, do you only do food waste in here, or do you put other things?
Sometimes I put junk mail in here.
Shredded?
I rip it up.
Rip up,
to throw
okay.
it in.
Okay.
Newspaper occasionally. But you need to have a balance of greens and browns. And so the greens would be, like that shriveled up apple that you never got around to eating, or there you go, or the squash that.
You got me full of everything?
No. Those would be the greens, the vegetable matter. Well, the green vegetable matter. But then, you have pine cones make a good brown to put in there, and also make some airspace in there. Leaves in the fall when we have we have some deciduous trees here. We have mostly evergreens.
There's a mulberry tree.
And when the deciduous trees lose their leaves, you gotta do something with them, break them up, throw them in here. We have a lilac bush that has a lot of leaves that it drops. And so those all go in there, and those would be the browns.
So you have seasonally added browns, kind of? You don't really manage exactly?
This is real loosey-goosey.
Okay.
But yeah, if it looks like it needs more brown, I take my junk mail and rip it up. I take the little plastic window of the envelope and throw that in the garbage.
Right.
But
and I see you have onion in here. Or you just put whatever is in there, right?
Yeah.
So
if I'm cleaning out the fridge and I haven't eaten something,
citrus?
It goes in there. I do put in citrus. It takes a really long time for the citrus to go, and pineapple takes a really long time. But eventually it will deteriorate.
Right. So the reason, go ahead.
Avocado pits take a little longer. But I'll tell you, the worms love the soft, fleshy fruit.
Yeah.
You put in a watermelon or an avocado with the flesh, and sometimes you're mixing it up with a pitchfork, and you turn it over, and there's this mass,
a ball of worms, right?
Of worms, and it's kind of gross and yet kind of fascinating at the same time.
Right. So the reason why I brought that up is because in vermiculture we typically say no onions, no garlic, no allium family, and no citrus. And the reason for that is, I don't know what the exact reason is for the alliums, but I don't know if it's bad for them or they avoid it. But for the citrus, that when you peel an orange and that is an acid that they actually stay away from. So part of the reason why it's taking longer to break down is probably just because it's breaking down without their aid.
Could be. I wonder if they don't eat the alliums because it gives them bad breath.
That must be it.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
So, how often do you take out the compost and use it?
Again, I'm real loosey-goosey about it. As you can see, well,
We'll
but
zoom
we
in.
can.
We'll zoom in.
There's a bunch of big stuff in here. It's not real dirt-like at the top, but when you turn it, sometimes I'll put all the more soil stuff will go to one side, and the
So you sort it.
kind of, yeah. And then I can take the dirt out and use it.
Okay. And the deer help you?
The deer like it, absolutely. Sometimes we'll find a piece of fruit or a vegetable out along the side over here.
Anything else get in there that you know of?
I don't know. The birds will get in there. Birds will come, swoop down, find something, and fly off with it, and you'll find it over there in the yard someplace. So,
Okay. Cool.
Oh, and corn cobs are something else that take a while. But if you can see, I don't know if you can see, but down there, like that squash, we just put that one in. That's pretty sad. But down there, it's already pretty good dirt. I don't see any worms in there right now, though.
Well, it's winter. They're probably down deeper.
I'm worried about them.
You're worried about them? No, I'm sure they're fine.
But it's kind of fun because when they have their babies, they're so tiny.
Would you say they're cute?
Not particularly. Let's see, here's a pineapple. That's all that's left of the pineapple.
Yeah. Pineapple tops tend to last a long time with us, and also
and there's corn cob.
Any of the pits, like cherry pits, stuff like that.
Yeah. Peach
They
pits.
do go away eventually.
Uh-huh.
But it's not because the worms are eating them.
And here's an avocado. I have to say,
A whole avocado?
I buy avocados, and then if I don't get around to eating them,
So did you break it open?
they get really mushy and nasty.
I think you have to break it open for the worms to get in
It probably would be better for them.
Now they'll find it.
Yeah. All right, so that's the idea.
Okay.
And that's how you do it.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video of composting. This is not the way I compost. In a city setting, this might not work as well because it would attract a lot of rats and stuff like that. But they don't have that out here. You guys should put a camera on here. My dad has game cameras out in the yard. You should put a camera on here.
You know, it never occurred to me to do that.
Yeah, we'll have
That
to
might be
see if
kinda
he
fun.
does that. But so this will work in some places better than other places. And so I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something along the way about worms and compost. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell notification, select all, so you get all the videos. We go through a lot of different types of things here, homesteading related and all of that. So this is just one way that you can do compost. I have more videos on my channel about compost. I believe there's a playlist. And thank you for watching. Enjoy the day.